So thanks for coming here to get the knowledge and education. When I was preparing the PowerPoint slide, I saw a meme online on YouTube, and I thought I should share. That's the best way in future to get the knowledge. So I hope one day AI would let us do that. So that's the nirvana. That's how we would want AI to give us the knowledge down the line. So besides the fun, let's start with the actual fun. So today's focus is going to be on integration of Microsoft Fabric and Databricks. These are the two big platforms in the ocean right now competing against Snowflake. If you go back, there were fragmented data platforms like Azure offered their own SD Insight services, AWS offered Redshift. Slowly the technologies has evolved and the companies are converging into integrated offerings or a SaaS solution or a PaaS solutions for data analytics, AI, ML, BI, as well as data warehousing. And that's where the focus is shifting. However, in large companies, the biggest challenge right now is the multi-cloud setup. Almost every company is having either 2 or 3 cloud solution providers. Anyone who has more than one, raise a hand just to get a feel of it. Both AWS or Azure or AWS and GCP, there's 1, 2. The companies I have worked for, most recently, they had all three of them. Because of the growth, companies acquire other companies, inorganic growth, and you end up dealing with multiple cloud solution providers. So this is the use case where we have to deal with it. About me, I did my master's from UT Austin, and then I'm doing my MS in data science, trying to finish it next year, online program. I'm a CTO for a startup in mobile app, so I'm a board advisor with Hoonartek. It's a data AI advisory company out of India with a presence in Europe primarily. Been in the industry for about 30 years. Some of the companies I worked here actually in Dallas with Toyota, past employers were Mass Mutual, AIG, Bank of America. So I have broken down this discussion in 2 parts. There's a little bit of management flavor of it, why we need to do it, and then the second part is going to be more technical, and where we'll deep dive into the technical aspects. I'm focusing primarily on the modern data platform architectures, the benefits of the integration, the use cases, some of the examples that we have seen in the past, and what you will take away from today is get a high-level feel of the 2 platforms that are in the market competing head-to-head. One is the Databricks, and now the new one is the Microsoft Fabric. I will not touch about Snowflake in this discussion, but be advised that's a very good competitor. So there are 3 flavors in the market competing with each other: Snowflake, Databricks, and Microsoft Fabric. Also, you will get a feel of what each does better right now. Again, in future, how they evolve, it's anybody's guess. Their bigger problem in the industry are threefold. One is the silos. I don't have to tell you how data silos have impacted companies over time. With all the mergers going on, the silos are going even bigger. And the second is the technical debt. I mean, over the last 10, 15 years, the technology has evolved so fast. It's just impossible for both human beings, people like us, as well as for the companies to embrace and adopt new technologies at a fast pace. And third one is performance. How do you scale the setup and the data factories or the data marts, whatever you have built over time for efficiency gains? Now there are 3 or 4 drivers that we have observed in our surveys with different companies. There are 3 main one. One is the risk and compliance. That's the biggest motivator that had been in the companies trying to integrate or consolidate their footprints. The second one is the customer experience. Now, anyone can make a guess which one is the number 1 beneficiary. I mean, which of these 4 benefited the company most after integration? Just a guess. Yes. Number 1 is customer experience. That benefited the companies most with integration. What was the second best, next best? Excuse me? No, risk and compliance. The cost of not complying is huge. The cost of failure with regulatory bodies is humongous. It's not just the monetary cost, it's the regulation reputation cost. If any company's name comes into that, just imagine the amount of reputation that company loses. So that cost is huge. Let's talk about the Microsoft Fabric a little bit. It's a SaaS-based solution. What it tried to achieve in the last 3 years is to consolidate the reporting layer, the data engineering layer, and the third is the storage layer. Earlier it was Synapse, and then they integrated the data lake concept into that, bundled it together, and created a complete single offering on a SaaS model where you just subscribe to it, and it offered all these 3 benefits together in the one way. Again, the cost component is there. There are 3 major cost factors that we have to manage regardless: the storage, compute, and bandwidth. Now, OneLake. What is OneLake? OneLake is a new paradigm in data storage. It is extension or generation 2 of data lake. If you have used data lake, it's a blob storage where you check some files or tables and it stays forever at the lowest cost possible. Now, OneLake has allowed companies to store data in a structured format to some extent in a Parquet format. Anyone who has used Parquet file format? Perfect. So Parquet is a columnar file format. That's number 1. That's number 2, Parquet stores the metadata about the structure itself with the file. Number 3, Parquet can be broken down into multiple file components. So that's a big advantage with Parquet file system, that it's very efficient in that, and it's columnar. So unlike tables that we know in Oracle's SQL, where record is on a row level, columnar database like Parquet stores it vertically. So that's a big concept or a big paradigm shift that happened 10 years back, I think, when it became mainstream. Another example, just to complement the story here, is SAP HANA. SAP HANA is also a columnar database used exclusively on SAP ERP platforms, and it's in-memory database. Just to give a loop on this. Lakehouse. So Lakehouse is also very similar to Microsoft Fabric. Lakehouse underpinning is Delta Lake file format, which is a Parquet. So again, it's the same concept that Microsoft is using right now on Microsoft Fabric. Lakehouse also integrates ML Flow. It also integrates Spark. It started with Spark engine and then it built into Databricks. Now imagine a data storage layer where you can throw any kind of file or a table, and then you put governance on top of it in some fashion. So you are able to govern both structured and unstructured data at the same time. Then you put a layer of BI on top of it. You put a layer of enterprise data warehouse on top of it. And then you put a layer of AI ML on top of it. So now you got a complete picture of any analytics that any enterprise wants to do. In any enterprise, the main reporting needs are traditional BI, data warehousing, and then AI ML. And it is the AI ML part that has always caused the nuisance of the problem in any company, and companies had to go into different directions. Both these products, Microsoft Fabric as well as Databricks, solve these 2 biggest problems: the storage as well as the nuances around the unstructured data for AI ML. Delta Lake is, again, I think I touched about it earlier. It's built on a Parquet file format. It supports ACID transactions. So it's just like OLTP transactions, it supports complete ACID. It can scan the schema of a file and evolve over time. Time travel is a big feature. So basically, if you have done deletions or you have modified some data, you can go back. The reason is because in Parquet or in Delta Lake format, the files don't get deleted. They get tracked, and then a new file comes on top of it. So you can always go back and look at the history. And that's the sweet spot, or the biggest reason why these companies have embraced the Delta Lake file format, which is an open format actually. I'm trying to give you a brief comparison and what would be the major factor where would you lean between these 2 platforms. Now, what I have personally felt, again, the use case would be different in your setup, is this one, the last row. that has been the kicker for me. Where I am right now, sitting and looking at things, companies don't want to get tied to one platform, which is the story for Microsoft Fabric right now. It may change, but Databricks is agnostic. You can store data anywhere you want and still get all your analytics ML needs done. So that is the biggest leverage I see with Databricks right now. Again, like I said, it may change in future. Microsoft Fabric may go with other cloud providers. Both offer Power BI connectivity. In Fabric, it's native, it's built in, but in Databricks, you can connect Power BI, Tableau, or any reporting tool that you want. There are a lot of acronyms on data and Fabric, so I want to clear the doubt here. Data mesh is a concept. It has nothing to do with any vendor. And data fabric is also a concept, nothing to do with any vendor. Data mesh is more about organizationally keeping the data distributed. So distributed domains ownership is the main underpinning of the data mesh model. For example, if I can say sales data will be stored in US, just example, it may not be a good example. Finance data will be stored in Europe. And with data mesh, that promotes it. Data fabric, it's on its own is the technical implementation, is the architecture, where it supports data mesh organizationally, having distributed domain data across different regions or different concepts. At the same time, it enables central management of the data. Microsoft Fabric is completely different. It has nothing to do with these two concepts. So just wanted to clear it out on that. There's a fourth fabric thing here in the play. It's called Azure Service Fabric, and that is to build microservices. It has nothing to do with it. I forgot to include another pillar here, but that's the fourth one. No connection whatsoever at all. What are the advantages? You get best of the best from both platforms, from both Databricks as well as Microsoft Fabric. I'm giving my personal experience. Personally, I felt Databricks is more mature in AI ML side. It has the capabilities and features that I have not seen, or maybe I've not been able to appreciate in Microsoft Fabric. Microsoft Fabric is more mature and more polished for the end user reporting analytics, so because of the Power BI user friendliness. So if you are an end user type of person, Microsoft Fabric is a sweet spot. However, if you are in a team that works with data scientists, or if you are in a fintech company or insurtech where you are trying to do valuations or simulations, you might appreciate Databricks more. So again, pick your poison. Both offer the same features and capabilities. Challenges, there are few challenges that we have to focus on. Data synchronization. How would you synchronize data between these two different platforms? Should you? I want to analyze my sales report, sales forecast. Should I store my sales data in both platforms? Or is there a way I can store it only one place and then be able to do the analysis at both sides? Maybe traditional BI analytics being done in Microsoft Fabric, and AI ML centric analytics and data science based modeling be done on Databricks side while data is still in Fabric. So that's the ideal sweet spot scenario we're going to talk about. Obviously, you need multi-platform skills. That's a high one. Governance is a big one. Security. Where would you provision the users? How would you do the security modeling? How would you do the auditing? So those are the things that we need to watch out for. Just want to quickly glance through these ROI and values. Typically, we have seen companies get the values within 1.5 years to 2.5 years. That's the ROI of integrating different platforms in any medium-sized companies. And on an average, I have seen a return of about 250% over time. E-commerce, so this is, I think it was a $2.5 billion company. They acquired another retailer, and obviously the setup was different. One was using Databricks, other one was using Microsoft Fabric, and they had to do the integrations. It lasted about 2.5 years or something, 18 months, I'm sorry. And there was a value of about $250 million of financial impact. Now, in retailers, the biggest factor that you have to deal with a problem is, I'm sure other problems are there. The main one is the category management for them, the SKUs. They have billions and millions of products, and you have to identify and catalog them. That's the biggest problem that we have to do or deal with for any kind of reporting analytics. This is an example from a bank, traditional bank like Citibank or Chase. I don't want to name it, but typical bank. And they had a subsidiary that they wanted to integrate into their main corporate systems. And they went through this effort, again, 2 years deal. And post that, they were able to get complete customer experience revamped for their whole sales team as well as the marketing team for them. Insurance company, typical insurance company like Geico, whatever you know. They went through another M&A, and here also again Databricks and Fabric had to work together. And the reason why they merged or consolidated was not because of the IT compulsion of have one system or integrate systems. It's just that user base was varied. Insurance industry, if you observe, or State Farm is a classic example. They work on the agent. Agent is the big thing for them. So the third-party agents, independent agents, brokers, and then the whole company. So analytics for the agent, the sales team, is totally traditional BI flavor. And the rest of the company, majority of them, they are actuarials. They are in data, living in data, statistical analysis, simulations, actuarial analysis. So those kind of people, they prefer Databricks. So there was a clear segmentation of the audiences. One wanted a simple BI, Power BI kind of setup. Another one wanted a deep dive, SaaS kind of solutions. So Databricks came into picture. Now, whatever way you do integrate, there are 3 layers that we have to work with for integration: the foundation layer, and at the integration layer, and at the workload layer. Now, all these 2 products offer different flavors of their offerings, and then we'll see in the part 2 of this slide deck how we do the comparison. Shortcuts is one of the big features that Microsoft Fabric offered. It's a kind of a pointer to data stored somewhere else. Just I'm simplifying it significantly. Or think of it like a remote query. So when you create a shortcut and then you run analytics, it creates a remote query, gets the data, gets the metadata from that data source, and displays the results. I'm doing a very oversimplistic analogy here. So that's a shortcut. We're going to talk deeper on this a little bit down the line. Security framework is the area where we need to focus on unified security model and data governance model. Performance, another one. Yes, we can integrate systems, but we need to keep in mind of 3 areas where we have the performance hit. One is the data optimization side, second one is the compute side, and third one is the network optimization. So these 3 factors need to be played or evaluated all the time on any kind of integrations that we do. Best practices, you guys pretty much are familiar with the best practices, but I'm just going to touch key ones. Focus on medallion architecture, the silver, gold, bronze thingy all the time. Completely always define the success measures ahead of time and then track against it. Change management is a big thing, regardless of the company being small or big. Almost 50% of my projects that I've worked in, I'm 25 years in the company, 50% of them failed. And number 1 reason has been change management. I'm not talking about small projects, okay, build this data warehouse, data mart. I'm talking about any initiative that is more than $1 million. They almost always fail 50% times, and the change management is the number 1 thing. And it's underutilized, underemphasized, underappreciated. Change management. Typically, it's a 12-month journey where we build a foundation, expand, optimize, and scale. There's a phase 0 also that I have not listed here. Phase 0 almost always talks about defining what is your OKR or KPIs, stakeholders, doing the engagements, building out the RACI models. So any company or any project plan where you see phase 1 and onwards, you just assume that it's just garbage, honest answer. Phase 0 has to be talked about, and companies don't talk about it. They just lump it into phase 1. But that is the most critical aspect, and the change management is one of those sliver of it. This is a quick decision box, and I'm going to simplify it. If you want flexibility, you need to have both models, both Databricks as well as Microsoft Fabric integrated. So these three are important ones. Flexibility, cost, long-term, and feature coverage. Almost always features differ between the products. My personal experience had been Databricks had been a stronghold in AI/ML side. Particularly nowadays when you want to build agentic AI tools, Databricks shines. To me, I'm not saying that's truth. If I want to evolve in that territory, I probably would not look at any other product. But again, if I want simplistic things, traditional BI, yes, Microsoft Fabric, aka Power BI shines. So play around it, pick your poison. Let's talk about the part 2 of this. Those who want to leave can leave because it's going to be a little bit technical. I can answer any questions that you may have quickly here before we go to part 2. Any question? Okay, so part 2 will focus on the options for integration. One is real-time processing, streaming. We're going to do an overview on Databricks. We're going to do an overview on Fabric. And then we'll do an integration consideration. Are we over? What time? Yeah. Okay. We need to focus on some components of the Fabric, that is Firehose. On Databricks side, we need to focus on structured streaming. I'm going to skip some slides and give you an evolution of the Lakehouse concept. Traditionally, it was simple data warehousing, then unstructured data came into picture, and then we built data lakes. Now we have a need to analyze both structured as well as unstructured, so we are building data lakehouse. Databricks platform, I think talked about it earlier. It is trying to build analytics for both BI as well as AI/ML on the structured, unstructured data while having governance. So that's the field, that's the kicker here. Very simplistic screen of Databricks home screen. Microsoft Fabric is doing the same thing here. The concept is a one lake concept. It's the evolution of data lake. Allows storing of structured, unstructured data on this. And on top of it, it does the data engineering, Synapse Analytics, Power BI, and data warehousing. This is the home screen of Microsoft Fabric. Very similar look and feel like Databricks. Now, the consideration is here. If I store data on Fabric and I want to analyze using Databricks, what are my options? How do I do it? Same way, if I'm storing in Databricks and I want to analyze using Fabric. So I'm just going to touch it. I'm going to have these slides available for download. So if your data stores primarily in one lake Fabric, the best way to do integration is to do mirroring and shortcuts. Likewise, if you are storing data primarily in Databricks, again, the best way is to do shortcuts, or Databricks has a concept called live delta share. So you can use that also. I've talked about the Fabric shortcuts earlier. Databricks mirroring I've talked about. That is it. I think the best integration is that tells you the single story, single version of a truth. It is secure, and it has governance. If I were to summarize the whole comparison or integration options, use Databricks when you have complex engineering work or AI/ML scenarios. Use Fabric when you have traditional business and BI needs. Otherwise, you also have a choice of Snowflake in the mix if you are confused. That is it, guys. Any